thought I would give a quick update on my superhero therapy game and how that's been going. For those that follow my YouTube channel, you may remember that a couple of weeks ago I had announced that I was going to start playing this game that was inspired by Jane McGonigal's superhero therapy game that she used to get out of a serious depression and suicidal funk resulting from a concussion that she suffered. She wrote a book about it. Other people with various problems, both mental and physical, debilitating diseases and these kinds of things, have successfully picked it up, used it to their benefit, and I thought I would play with it for a little bit. So a couple of weeks ago I started playing, and I made my own rules, although some of them are adaptations of what Jane was doing. Basically, I laid out 5 different health metrics that I would keep track of every day, and either by my activities boost the levels of or decrease the levels of. And so in this order, my health metrics that I keep track of are spiritual health, physical health, relational health, cognitive health, and symbiotic health. And for each of those, the first 4 at least, I started off the game with a level 5 out of 10, right? Just as a starting point. And some of them have increased over the last couple of weeks, and some of them have gone down. The symbiotic, the last of the 5, is a little bit different. I saw the symbiotic health, which is our health in relation to how well we are adapted within the whole life system. That includes how well adapted our microbiota, our commensurate microbiota is in our bodies and on our bodies. That whole community, as well as the other organisms in the life system that we're embedded amongst. So that one I started my level off at 2, and that one, even though right now I have it scaled up to 10, I think that in the modern context with our industrial culture, that really nobody could ever reach a 10 while they're embedded in this context, that they would maybe get around the level of 8 if they were extreme locavores and environmentally engaged and these kind of things, ecologically engaged. But to get a 10 is just impossible. So rather than starting at 5 for that level, I started at 2. Anyway, I'll tell you how things have been going. That's just one aspect of the game. In terms of those different health levels, my physical has gone up from the 5. It's been lingering between 6 and 7. I've been working out pretty much every day, doing something. Usually a couple hours of my day is workout. I might do some cardio training, I might do some strength training, I might do some martial arts, I might do some flexibility. Any combination of these. I've been swimming, I've been running, I've been doing kettlebell circuits, I've been doing dumbbell circuits, I've been doing top and bottom bag training. I've been doing a little bit of the standing heavy bag kick training stuff, just this and that, but pretty much every day, except for last week and last Sunday, and then Monday, Tuesday I was sick. I got a cold, and it kind of my health level probably would have been up more like 7.5 by now, but it went down a bit with the cold because I was a little bit debilitated. Also included in that health level is my diet, so my health level doesn't go up if my diet sucks, right? Otherwise, again, it would have probably been up a bit more than it is right now. These levels, these health levels, can go up or down by maximum of 1 integer a day, so like from a 5 to a 6, but typically only a half an integer, right? So 0.5. So that's my physical health. My spiritual health has been kind of in limbo between a 4 and maybe a 5.5. And for the spiritual health, including both my own engagement with traditional Black spirituality, and also just my sense of where my spirit, how my spirit's doing. If I'm feeling low, if I'm feeling depressed and this kind of thing, then my spirits are lower, and I mark myself as such. If I maintain kind of a positive outlook, and I'm excited, I'm enthusiastic about what I'm doing, and I'm in the moment and enjoying myself, my spirits are up, and I give myself credit for that. So anything that I can do to make myself a healthier, happier person in that respect raises my levels. But basically it's been hovering around that 5, right? 4 to maybe 5.5, something like that. So it hasn't been going anywhere, but at least it hasn't been plummeting, right? And I have some confidence that it will go up eventually here. So that's the spiritual. My relational is where I'm lacking the most. Out of all my different levels, the relational health has gone down. I think it's below 2 now. And for relational health, what I'm talking about is really like putting others' desires and needs first, looking out for other people, spending time with people, spending time visiting people. I spend a lot of time alone or with my immediate family. My immediate family I don't really count, toward the relational thing, because being with my immediate family is like being with myself. We're so closely bonded, my wife and my daughter, that it's just like being us. We're one unit together. So that doesn't, I'm not counting that in the relational. I'm counting it as with other people, right? Whether or not we go visiting someone, or I know somebody needs something, so I reach out to them to help them do something, bring them a gift, whatever, that kind of stuff. I so rarely do it that, most times I'm going down in that level, or I'm just doing enough that I feel like I'm holding ground, so I don't go up or down, but I'm just holding ground. So that's where I really need improvement, is in my relational health. Cognitive health is much like my spiritual health. I see it as kind of flexing right now between 4 and 6. So an average of 5. Right where I started is kind of where it stands. Some days, like, I give myself a boost in my cognitive level for the day if I've been in a kind of a learning mode all day, or for a good part of the day at least. If I've been engaged, inquisitive, if I've been reflective, if I've been critically thinking, but mainly if I've been in learning mode, not just taking what's going on around me for granted, but always asking questions, trying to learn, trying to expand my perspectives and my understandings of everything around me. So that would be what I mean by the cognitive health. The symbiotic health I already explained, really is how well adapted I feel that I am in the life system, including my microbiota. And so right now that one's been going up, but that one can only go up because it's such a more difficult health measure. That one can only go up or down by a fifth, or no, 5% of an integer at a time. So 0.05 basically. So right now I think I'm up at 2.3, something like that. So it is going up. Once in a while, over the 2 weeks, I've had a day where it went down, but mostly it's been going up. And either that or holding ground, where I feel like I've done just enough to kind of hold ground. And the things that I'm doing to increase my levels for that is I'm eating wild foods, and I'm spending time engaged in learning from the life system, being out in the coulees, being around the pond, these kind of things. Or if I'm engaging with some other species, like if I'm feeding a skunk or a magpies or what have you, then I feel like, that's part of at least engaging with the life system, not just being in a human-centric reality. So those are my health levels. So that's just one factor in the game that I'm playing, and that's where I have been the last couple of weeks. So basically my relational health is where I need help. My physical health is where I'm doing best. Symbiotic health is doing pretty good. The other two, cognitive and spiritual, is kind of remaining right where I started. So that's one aspect. The other thing is going on quests. Like the hero has to go on a quest. And if I can undertake some kind of quest every day, this is a scenario where you try to do an activity that is an opportunity to express your idealized, hero within, basically. What would Ryan do? Ryan, the hero Ryan, right? The secret Ryan. The one that's underneath the layer of costuming that I put on for society, but the secret hero Ryan, what would he do in this scenario, and try to do that. So if I undertake a quest, and it could just be anything, typically, I've been considering quest as some kind of task, something that I have to get done, that I do during the day. Might take me a couple of hours, it might take me a good part of the day. I'll give myself points for any quests that are completed. 25 points for a quest that is of my design, something I undertook of my own design. 50 points for a quest if it is a calling, if somebody else asks for help and I come to the aid of that person and undertake that as a quest. 50 points, because that's where the true heroism comes in, because somebody knows you can help them and they call on you. That's where your real superpowers are exposed, right? So for instance, during this 2 weeks there was a post on one of the Facebook pages for Lethbridge, where I live, where somebody had come across an injured bird, and then somebody else tagged me in that post, and the person that tagged me in the post is a total stranger to me. I don't know that person at all, right? But they tagged me because I'm known for being able to help injured birds in particular, animals in general, being able and willing, right? So that was a call from an entirely a stranger to help in a situation where nobody else was able or willing to help. And I had to think about it. I didn't respond right away. I think I was in the kitchen. I was preparing some food, and I was like, man, I really don't want to, because It was an injured crow, and I thought, I'm going to end up with another crow in my house, and I've got some birds that I'm already taking care of, but then, about 10 minutes of stewing on this, and I thought, well, no, but nobody else is going to help that crow. Nobody else is going to help that bird. Nobody else is going to attend to this. So I have to go. Right? So I went and did it and helped the bird. And I actually think this bird might fly again, but he is in our house temporarily while he's healing. It's a juvenile. Must have got whacked by a car. But anyway, that kind of thing reveals, the real superhero power that I have. Like, one of those powers is the work that I do with the animals, the ability that I have to help animals. When we were in Tamera, Portugal a few weeks back, those people there who live there in Tamera recognized my wife and I right away as what they called animal communicators. And they had a session with us so that they could try to learn some things from us about animal communication, because they're experimenting with it there. So yeah, so this is basically a real life superpower, right? If somebody calls on you because they know you and only you can help them in a situation. So for those kind of quests, which are the best kind, I give 50 points instead of 25. So those are the quests, and I think when I get to enough points, say maybe 5,000 points, right now I'm at like 300, I think. If I get to like 5,000 points or something, or maybe less, I don't know, a couple of thousand anyway, then I'll level up. And in leveling up, I think I can increase all my levels. On a scale, I bring it up to 12 instead of 10 or something like that, so I can continue to grow. And maybe I'll add another dimension to the game that I didn't have before, just like when you level up in any other game. One final aspect of the game is, of course, the battle with enemies, right? So you have to identify enemies and face them and fight them. And most of these enemies, what I'm learning, are enemies within, right? They're aspects of myself. So I got a friend who's actually playing the game with me, and one of the things that we've learned as identified as an enemy is, for instance, tendencies toward narratives, debilitating narratives that are expressions of foresight or hindsight, where the narratives are telling us things that are negative and self-defeating and these kind of things. It's real easy to project potential problems and preclude actions that you might otherwise undertake that are really the kind of actions that your idealized hero within would want to do. But you start telling yourself, oh, this is never going to work for this reason or that reason. One of the things that I tell myself that's like this, that I've seen over the last couple of weeks, is that I tell myself I have a very rare skill set, and I do. I have a very rare skill set. And the problem is there's no room in our culture. There's no need in our culture, no demand in our culture for my particular rare skill set, right? This is the kind of narrative I tell myself, and it's a debilitating one. When really, I'm sure my skill set is very marketable if I can figure out the niche, right? So the challenge is to figure out the niche, and there's going to be a niche, right? I had one before. I built it myself, and it was great. So there can be many niches that call for my particular skill set or a subset of my skill set, but telling myself that there isn't, that there is no space for this in our culture is just completely debilitating. That means that I won't do anything to find a place where I can apply my skills, where I'm going to be happy, and that kind of a thing. So staying away from those narratives, or recognizing those kind of hindsight and foresight narratives that are debilitating, that are self-defeating, those are some of the enemies, a couple of the enemies that that I'm facing. And there are others that are right now a little bit more concealed, but I think maybe in the next couple of weeks I'll sort out exactly what they are. But yeah, this is some of the stuff that I'm learning as I go through playing the game, and I'm having fun with it. I'm enjoying it. I feel way healthier. I haven't been poisoning myself. You know, I've had a couple of days where I felt kind of down and stuff, but on the whole, I've been feeling a lot better, and a lot more optimistic about the things that are going on in my life and what, you know, where it's leading. So I'm going to continue playing, and I'll continue sharing what I learn in that as I go along. So thanks for listening.